I'm Emily.
And I'm Ethan.
We're traveling across America in search of its most captivating communities.
All the while, we're working from the road and taking the adventures as they come.
This is
Remote!
In the last couple episodes, I shared some of my West Virginia experiences in the musical capital of Charleston, the adorable community of Fayetteville, and the spiritual haven of New Vrindabon. This week, we venture into the vast and mysterious Monongahela Forest. The Monongahela covers a massive area of nearly 1 million acres. It is bursting with breathtaking scenery and encompasses one of the most ecologically diverse areas in the United States. It's what the U.S. government calls a working forest, meaning timber and other resources are frequently harvested. Almost all the trees are second-growth forest, grown back after the land was heavily cut for the sake of Victorian-era architecture. So it's rare to find a section of this forest that is untouched, but that's exactly what I was most interested in seeing.
Gaudenir Scenic Area has 50 acres of accidental old growth. Its red spruces are 250 to 300 years old and were only spared from logging because of a mistaken boundary survey. Today, it's a special and treasured plot of forest.
So this old-growth forest is the closest thing that we'll probably see to what this country looked like before the Europeans came and settled here. That being said, back then, of course, there were a lot more large mammals grazing the area. There were a lot of elk, probably, and bears, and maybe even wolves. And so those animals, of course, have a pretty big impact on the environment around them. So I don't really know how it would look different, but it would have still been a little bit different than what we see today.
Little sleepy baby pine cone is closed up for the winter, but when it's warm, it will open its little petals and disperse seeds.
It's a Christmas tree trail.
Why are old-growth forests so fascinating? In addition to looking like a scene from a fairy tale, they play essential roles in wildlife habitat, species diversity, hydrological regimes, nutrient cycles, and carbon storage.
There's no snow in sight, but we're going skiing.
Hillbilly skiing, yeehaw!
What's it gonna be like to ski in this fog? This will be a new experience. Skiing in West Virginia was interesting. It was early season and, we knew there was a likelihood that there wouldn't be much snow because it hadn't snowed yet. When I booked the tickets, there was like a snow guarantee. Snowshoe basically said we'll have at least X% of runs open, and all the runs that were open were greens. There was one blue, but the blue was treacherous. 'Cause
Yeah.
it wasn't really groomed. It was just like, it was like the snow machines that spew the snow, just like spewed it into like piles, and then people would just like ski into the pile and then like fall over.
Yeah, I watched people just row after row falling in the same place over and over again, and everybody was just struggling. And it was cool on the way up the mountain. It was very foggy. It was like a windy, foggy, mystical mountain road, and we didn't see snow the whole time until we got to like literally the parking lot of the ski resort, and then you could tell it was like fake snow. It was real fake.
When we were riding the lift, there was no snow underneath us, so it was bizarre. I've never seen anything like it.
And it was like mud too. It wasn't like nicely, everything was dead and muddy. And the visibility on the mountain got so bad at one point you couldn't see like 5 feet in front of you. There was a whole run from the top where I thought everyone had disappeared. Like I thought the mountain like closed due to emergency, because I couldn't see anybody and it was just fog the whole way down. It was very eerie.
I had one little spill and kind of twisted my ankle, and then the fog rolled in, and I realized, like, okay, now this is just straight up dangerous. I don't want to, like, push my luck, you know? So, ended up leaving a little bit early for the day, but it was an experience, that's for sure.
We can say we've skied in West Virginia.
Wishers can't be pickers.
We stayed in the town of Elkins, or as they like to call it in December, Elfkins. My first time visiting the town was actually last fall, during which time I stayed at the Elkins Brewstall, half hostel, half brewery. It was a fun little place to socialize, and I got some good advice about what to see in the area, beginning with Bickle Knob. Like pickle spelled with a B, Bickle Knob is a lookout tower proudly perched on top of a mountain with 360-degree views. You can see Elkins and the surrounding hills stretching for miles and miles. It was a spectacular spot to watch the sunset. When in Elkins, don't go swimming in the water, but do visit all of the cute local businesses, including our favorite Venezuelan restaurant.
Here in West Virginia, we have gotten so used to live music. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to listen to Spotify again.
Nope, we just have to keep coming to these Mexican restaurants.
It's Venezuelan, and we are spoiled. Confusion and Confucius. They're only a couple letters off.
Rolling fog and bright colors, a fall hike in the Dolly Sods wilderness is an unforgettable experience.
Camping at the Seneca Shadows campground was a lovely experience, with the towering cliffs of the Seneca Rocks visible from my tent. The next morning, I was able to squeeze in a quick hike to the top of the rocks and back before starting work.
The Canaan Valley is another West Virginia ski resort. This one I visited well before ski season, solely with the intent of hiking. Actually, I arrived to hike without even knowing it was a ski resort. After trekking up steep, forested hills, I was surprised to find myself at a working ski lift, which is open year-round so that the views are more accessible. So I hiked up this mountain, and then I realized that I don't have to hike all the way down. I can take the ski lift. The highlight of my day was encountering a woman singing hymns on top of the mountain. The sight of the majestic red and yellow hills sprawled in the distance, paired with the hymn, gave me chills. I walked up just as she started to pray aloud and joined her. After our prayer, the woman introduced herself. I said I was visiting from Dallas, and in response, she said, "Dallas has beautiful buildings." I laughed. What could Dallas possibly have to offer compared to these awe-inspiring mountain landscapes? I'd been planning to skip Blackwater Falls, another state park nearby. I'd gotten a late start that day and had to get to my campsite by dark, but the woman convinced me it was worth a visit, even if I was in a hurry. "It's like Niagara Falls, but better," she said.
Ladies and gentlemen, the West Virginia Children's Choir.
I